Hi everyone, and welcome to the Red Brick House. Today is going to be a continuation of my log cabin table runner. I am going to be putting all of my little quilt blocks together, and I'm excited to show you how I'm going to do this. Now, this is the quilt block that I made that I'm referring to. If you haven't seen the video where I'm making this, and you're interested in how I did this, you can find that here on my YouTube channel. And I made this all by hand. I don't do quilting typically by machine. I don't do quilting the traditional way. And with that said, how I put this together is probably not how most people would put it together. I don't know. It almost feels like I'm kind of doing this wrong, or I'm doing this in a more difficult way. And I will talk more about that here in a little bit. I'm having some second thoughts on the way that I created this block. And so I put in the comments of the video where I made this that I would not trim off the edges to make it squared off until you're ready to stitch these together. That way you always have that insurance of knowing, you know, that how much fabric you're gonna need. Because I regret doing that. Now, it's still doable, it's still salvageable. I can still put it together, and I'm going to do that today, but it might be a little wonky for some of you. Like I said, if I was going to do this again, I would make it differently. But since it was the first time I tried this, I was trying something new and kind of doing it on my own. And that's how things go when you do that. You know, sometimes you have to troubleshoot how to complete a project. And so anyway, with that said, I'll have you join me at my table and we'll get to work on putting these squares together. Okay. So first I'm going to talk about what I don't like. I don't like that I trimmed off the edges here. I wish I would have left those on because here I've already sewn on my trim, and as you can see there's only just a little sliver of this showing because I didn't think about a seam allowance when I cut these off. So I think always leave those on until you're ready to sew your blocks together. Doesn't matter how you're going to sew them together, but that way you always have that and you can trim it off later. And that's what I should have done. That was my first mistake. And then also I don't like how this looks. So I took two strips like this. These are just two individual strips, and I sewed one on to the top of this, and then I sewed one onto the back like that. And then I folded them over and I top stitched them here, and I folded the edges in, kind of like I did my table runner or my my placemats. And I don't like how that looks. I'm not loving it. I don't know if it's the stitching that's bothering me, or I don't know. I just don't really like how that looks. So I don't know if I'm going to change that or not. I do have an idea how I might change it if I decide to do so. And so if I change that, I will let you know. But right now I don't really love that. But I'm going to attach the other blocks together in a different way than what I did on this edge. So because I don't mind having raw edges in this table runner, I already have a few already. I wish I would have torn these strips of fabric so they would have a nice frayed edge. I think that would have been nicer, but I wasn't thinking I was going to sew them on that way, and so I didn't do that. And I really don't want to go and cut out or, you know, waste more fabric. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to just let them fray as they fray, and I'm going to sew them flat on like that to the top. So this will be a frayed edge here and on the other side. And what I'm going to do, because I was kind of quilting as you go, and this I wanted to be my backing here instead of you know, making a quilt top basically, and then putting a foundation piece and sewing it together and then quilting it like you would kind of traditionally do a quilt. I tried a kind of quilt as you go method. So I don't know. I think if I'd have done it differently, I would have just gone that route where you just sew all these together and make a quilt top and then put your backing on. And if all this turns out like terribly bad and I just really don't like it, I can do that because I have a lot of this fabric back here left over. So I could do that. I could just kind of, you know, I can make that work if I don't like how this is turning out. And so that's what I'm going to do. So because I have this edge and then I have this edge here, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my strip and I'm going to overlay it just a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to overlay it like that. I'm going to go ahead and pin it down. Let's get that out of the way. I'm going to pin it down so that I make sure that it's on here. But I'm going to be very careful that I'm not going to pin this back to it, okay? Wait, no, I am. Sorry. I am going to pin that back to it. It won't matter. Okay, sorry. I'm just kind of making this up as I go, y'all, really. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I have a plan. So I'm going to just go ahead and pin that down in some places a little bit so it doesn't move. Maybe at the top, and here at the bottom. Whoops. Okay, now I'm gonna take this piece, this other strip that I have here, I'm gonna turn this over, and it will be upside down for a minute, but that's okay. I'm going to sew this strip onto the back of here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to line it up. Like I said, I can only get away with this because I don't mind having raw edges. And I'm going to pin that in the middle where I didn't put any pins on the other piece. It's going to have a lot of pins in it, but that's okay because I don't want it to move around too much. I'll try to leave space so I can still stitch over top of it. Okay. So now I'm going to turn it back right side over, and I'm going to put a line of stitching right down through here. And I think that that will work. And then when I go to stitch my next one, let me see. When I go to stitch my next one, it will be this way, like this, and I will do the same thing. This will be open here, and I'm just gonna tuck this in here like that. And I'm gonna put that down, and then I'll just sew right down the edge of this. Then I'll have both of my blocks connected. So that is my plan of how I'm going to put this little table runner together. So I'll come back after I get this all sewn down. I will come back because I do plan on putting a border of this color on my sides here and here at the bottom, on the top and the bottom. So let me get this finished, and then I will come back when I get ready to do that. Okay, so I have it here laying on my bed, and I have finished putting these middle pieces in here, and I'm okay with how it looks. I think it looks a little bit better than what the edge looked like before. So when I got to the edges, I kind of did the same thing here. I just sandwiched this block in between these, I just sandwiched it in between these layers of fabric here. And I'm going to leave them like that until I get to the end, because I am going to put a border along here. And so I liked the way that that looked. If you can see it here. I liked the way that this edge looked. I think it looked more cohesive with this rather than how I did the other edge. So I took the liberty to go and to take out this edge. So I took this one out, and now I have, I've re-stitched it down the way that I've been doing these other strips. And so I just sandwiched it in between there. And I'm going to leave this open until I get my edges on here. And then I think I'll just go around the whole outside edge and one go around so that it'll look more cohesive, I think. Let me show you the back. This is another reason I picked this burgundy color, because it kind of blends in with this red that's on here. So I'll pull it in close so you can see a little better here. And so you can see these little ribbons on here have stripes of red on them. And they looked quite bright red, but when I put this like burgundy color up next to them, it looks pretty good together. So that's how it looks on the back. So this could be reversible. That was my hope anyway. So that's kind of just how it looks. I'll just kind of pull it so you can kind of see, get an idea of how it looks all together. And so now I just have to do the edges. So I have these long strips that I've cut out here of the same fabric, and I'm going to do the same thing on the edge here that I did in the middle of these. I'm just going to sandwich it in between, so it's going to be hard. It's going to take a lot of pins. Well, I don't think it's going to be hard, but it is going to take quite a few pins. So here I'm just laying the fabric on top of this strip about 1/4 of an inch. Let me bring the camera down a little bit so you can see. So here I've just laid it on top about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. It's not perfectly straight, so it's probably 1/4 inch in some areas. It might be 1/2 inch in other areas. Then I'm going to take my other strip and I'm just going to lay it on top of that. And then when I get it in place where I want it, then I will come through here and I will pin it down. And then I'm just going to stitch all along this bottom row right here. So that's my next step. And like I said, I'm only getting away with this because I don't mind the raw edges. I honestly wish I would have torn all these strips so that they would have a pretty ruffled edge, but I know they'll kind of get that way over time. But that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm back at my table now. I have all these edges complete. So I've sewn those on, but I still have this right here to deal with. So what I'm going to do, and I left these open as well. So what I want to do is I'm probably going to trim some of these up, because if you look, in some places they're not exactly the same. So I might kind of trim that up. But my plan here is I'm just going to hem this the same way that I hemmed my placemats and my other table runners that I've done. So I'm just going to press down I'm just gonna finger press it. You could do it with an iron. I am going to take an iron to this once I'm done because it's quite, some parts of the fabric are quite wrinkly and I kind of want it to look nicer. So, but for right now, I'm just going to finger press that down. I'm going to take this top level here and I'm gonna make it match up. Like I said, some of it was kind of uneven, but I can kind of do that with the hem here. I can match it up so it looks a little nicer on the edges, because I don't want raw edges on the edge, on the edges, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me bring it in a little closer so you can see here. So I've just folded both of those in together and I'm going to pin that there. And then I'm going to do a line of stitching across there, just a visible stitch all the way across here. And I think that will bring it all together and make it look a little nicer. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going down and pinning this, and then I will stitch it all the way around and I will show you guys my finished project. I think it'll be done then. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. This project has taken me longer than I thought it was going to, and it really has challenged me, I guess. I've had to troubleshoot some things and, you know, but I will say that let me bring it back out. Once I was worried about those edges that I trimmed, but once I got it in here and I got it covered with all these edges here, it really doesn't look bad. Like, it doesn't look bad as I thought it was going to. So, you know, it's up to you whether you trim your edges or not. I still say wait until you're ready to stitch them together and then decide if you need to trim them or not. But it worked out okay, I think. And I really like it. I keep saying I'm so sorry. I'm trying to break that habit. I didn't realize I said so many times, and there it is again, until I started editing. So I apologize if that's annoying. So I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to finish this little project and we'll see how it looks on now this is for my coffee table. I think I made a mistake in the very beginning and I said it was for my dining room table. I would have had to make a lot more blocks, probably about 3 more blocks to make it long enough for my dining room table. So this is going on my coffee table. And so I will show you guys how it looks in the end. Okay guys, it's all finished. I'm really happy with how it turned out, considering kind of the struggles and challenges that I had putting this together. I really like it a lot. And so I just wanted to kind of pan over and show you the whole thing. So that's one end. And then it goes across to the other end. You can see I put all my blocks exactly the same across there. I think I talked about that before, in the same position. And then I basically just put a border around each one and around the outside. I also wanted to show you the back of it. I think it's really cute on the back. I really like it as well. It kind of frames these little pieces and they just kind of look like little pictures or with little picture frames or something. I really like the back of it and how that turned out. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you some ideas and how you can make a no fuss kind of quilt as you go project that doesn't have to be, you know, super precise and super, you know, structured. It is wonky, I will say that. There are spots in it that are not, you know, you can visually see that they're not perfect or they're not straight. And that's okay. I'm okay with that because I knew that going into this project. I had accepted that fact already. And so with that said, like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.